Welcome back to The Middle Ground, a Canadian podcast hosted by two idiots from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. This is episode 2 of The Middle Ground. We would like to thank everybody who loved the first episode and supported us since then. Today's episode will be discussing law enforcement in Canada and the United States. We'll be talking about why law enforcement are disliked in today's society and how we can improve our stance towards them. Please welcome our hosts, Don Prancer and Michael Myers, and our first ever special guest, Alex White.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Middle Ground podcast with Don Prancer and yours truly,
Michael Myers.
And we're back today to talk to you guys about the funny things going on in Canada, as we usually do. You guys liked episode 1 so much that we ended up doing a second one and torturing ourselves. Isn't that right, Michael?
How amazing. I get to be tortured every single day. It's not like my wife does it on the daily.
You're welcome for that. So today we have a very special guest with us today, Alex White. Alex, go ahead and take it away.
Hello, I'm Alex White. I'm 27. I'm a Canadian police explorer. I'm more or less studying Canadian police. I know a good thing or two about it. I'm not going to call myself a professional. I'm glad to be here today to talk with these two lovely gentlemen. Take it away, boys.
Well, today we're actually going to be having a great topic about police, actually. Something that actually Michael brought on the table, like last time. We are actually going to be talking about the quote-unquote war on law enforcement that I'm completely untrained on. But it should be a good show today. Hoping everybody has their cup of coffee with them right now. Michael, where's yours?
My coffee right now, I don't have one because Timmy's decided that they didn't have any left, so I'm quite disappointed, but...
Oh yeah, right, you went when they were closed.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What'd you go when they were closed?
Well, I'm like, oh yeah, well they're open at 11, clearly not.
Oh, open this late. Well, I made mine because I'm not a rich fuck like you who goes into Timmy's. But I made mine. I actually made myself a nice latte because thank God that my girlfriend knows how to make coffee.
You have a girlfriend?
You knew this.
I never knew this. This is news to me. I thought that was your
This
sister.
honestly is.
You're an asshole, you know that?
I know.
Were you eyeing her the whole time too at dinner?
Maybe.
Alex, this is why you're not this is why you shouldn't be friends with this man. So,
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr. Steal Your Girl is actually crazy.
yeah. All right, let's get this done today. So, Alex, as a police, what are you again? I'm sorry.
I think you said police something, like explorer.
Yeah, I study law enforcement.
Oh, wait. So what?
I thought it was about to be like, yeah, identify as a police car.
So what do you do for a living?
I am basically a journalist. Yeah, pretty much law enforcement journalism.
Hold on. Okay. So since Michael brought up the topic, Michael, go ahead and ask it, I guess.
So, I wanted to ask you your opinion on the war on police that's happening in Canada recently. As many of you aware, the OPP sergeant that was shot. What's your stance on that?
Well, I think it's very heartbreaking. I don't think anyone in law enforcement should have to go through that. It's honestly more of a political standpoint, really, because it depends. It really just depends on where you're from, or not really where you're from, but mostly on what you've seen on the news, because the news paints a very different picture than real life. The news really tries to paint the picture of the slogan ACAB, which, for those of you who are living under a fucking rock, that's all cops are bastards. Which honestly is untrue.
It is very untrue.
So I've heard that come around a couple of times. In the American media, not like very recently, I haven't heard it that much, but I've heard it come by back during COVID and stuff like that. Everybody knows what happened then. But so today's question, in reality, isn't you know, how do you feel about cops? Because we know how you feel about cops. But today's question really is about, are cops like that bad as people think they are? So, as you know, the liberal of the show, basically,
Unfortunately.
since shut the hell up. Be happy I invited you, as you. So, now, as the liberal of the show, I want to know your standpoint on some of the things that I've heard, and I'm gonna get both of your standpoints in reality because I know most of this information. So,
Of course you do.
Michael,
Fucking Albert Einstein.
shut the hell up. All right, Michael, since you are the cop, and I told you that mostly bad cops happen.
Which is false, but
Michael, I want to know, in your department, in the last, say, 20 years, how many how many internal affairs cases have there been?
that is a very good question. From what I know, the IA cases that have been happening are maybe like 5 per year. But like we also have to go into that argument with an open mindset because there's good cops and there's bad cops. The good outweigh the bad in all of the circumstances that I've been through.
So, here in Canada, luckily we actually have a good amount of funding, and Canadians are nice. That's a lie, but
That's a very big lie, yeah.
we like to tell people we're nice. But my point is, you know, how many, like, if there aren't that many like bad cops here, right? What is the problem that people really have with the cops? And I want to ask Alex, I want to start asking like you first, actually, before I ask Michael.
Well, main reason why people think cops are bad is because in 2020, the Gerald R. Floyd incident really painted a bad picture on law enforcement. Now, that didn't really affect Canada as much as it did the States, but it still affects policing in general. Like, the RCMP has been, per se, called racist, corrupt, pretty much all the above. But
Right.
to be honest with you, they're bad. There's bad cops and there's good cops. It depends on where you are. Like, the RCMP are a reaction-based police department, so that means you don't see them patrolling. They mostly only respond to calls. They stay at the station practically 24/7. But something like, for example, the California Highway Patrol, they respond to calls, basically what normal police agencies do. But the standpoint that the media presents to law enforcement is that the bad cops are all of them. That they can't be trusted. They can't. You can't rely on them. But really, that's showing the very far left-sided, per se, point of view.
So, Michael, as an RCMP constable yourself,
Yes.
do you? I wanna. So I'm gonna ask both of you. Or well, let me ask you like before I go to this question. Actually, before I move on, what I just asked him, like, why do you think that people are against cops? Really?
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah, I'm asking you that question.
Okay. So that's a very simple question to answer. And
Hold
from
on,
what I
hold on.
think,
Hold on.
are you
Alex,
having a coughing
dying
attack over there?
Yeah. Alex, are you good over there?
I'm still alive.
If you
Good.
need us to get you some water, we can get you some water, right? Like, we're not gonna let you. Better yet, Lisa, can you get him some water? Thank you. I'm sorry. That Lisa is one of our Lisa is one of our editors back there. Actually, Lisa Thompson.
Lisa Thompson.
Say hi. Can't even hear her. But Lisa Thompson's one of our editors. Actually, she helps out. But
Very kind lady.
hopefully she gets you the water soon. But I'm sorry, Michael, we got
Anyway,
sidetracked.
We got so sidetracked.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, I find the negative publicity for police stems from the George Floyd incident, like my colleague here Alex said, and he pointed out, but which is a very good point, I must admit. But not to mention some bad experiences for police. That can be from maybe traffic stops with the officer being a total a-hole sometimes, or other experiences that weren't favorable. And that can stem from a lot of issues. It can stem from multiple things, in fact. But I find that it's just so unfair to police to know that, there's some people that are going to hate you. They're going to call you pigs for no reason. They're just going to hate everything that you do. But yet, it also begs the question is, if you really think about it, if your house is getting robbed, or if you're being held at gunpoint, who are you going to call? The police. What, are you going to call a crackhead? I don't think so.
And you sure as hell ain't gonna call the Ghostbusters.
There was
Exactly.
actually there was something funny that I actually Ghostbusters. I'm sorry. That was actually kind of funny. There was a funny skit that I'm sure you guys know who this is. Gabriel Iglesias. He's also known by Fluffy. He's
I love that guy.
Yes, I love that guy too. He's a Mexican comedian. And he made a really funny rhetoric. I don't know how long ago this was, but he made a funny rhetoric on one of his shows, on one of his Netflix shows actually. He was not Netflix, Comedy Central, but he was talking about how the California Highway Patrol Border Division actually invited him to do a show, and they kind of blackmailed him into it a little bit. They were saying like, we are aware of that warrant in Fresno, so
Oh,
he actually came to their detachment or their station, and he did the show. And he was saying like, oh, it's a bunch of, it's a whole lot of cops drinking, and if they start ganging up on me, who do I call?
exactly.
And he was saying like, am I supposed to just get some gangbanger on the back, like, bro, back me up? And I'm just like, oh my god, he is so right. Like,
He is really.
how there was the whole problem is, what are we supposed to do, like, if we don't have cops, right? So I actually took a training course when I was a little kid with not a little kid, I was like around 16ish. I took a training, not a training course, but a restorative justice course. It was about how we train our communities, right? Because some people, they feel like, some cops, and this is something that I agree with, if some cops don't know their communities, the reason that, like, I bring this up is because, so, the one thing that I agree with on liberals is that
Of course, you would agree with
if
that.
we're gonna have cops, shut the hell up. If we, I can't get my point across because of you. The reason that I say this is because if we have cops, I do agree that we should have them that are, or at least have been in some form with our community. I don't want a cop that's like from like Nashville patrolling, like, like here in St. John's. You don't want a cop from like the States patrolling here in Newfoundland, do you?
No, I don't think I'd feel safe with U.S. cops.
Nah.
Right. That's why I'm saying, like, if I agree with like the fact that we should have people who are in our communities, or people who have, who know enough about a community to actually serve. Like, say in like Calgary or so, there is people of all different, like, ethnicities and religions, and if you have a cop from, like, I don't know, if you have a cop from the countryside and he doesn't know anything about these people, that's gonna be a very big shift in, like, how he patrols. Like, he won't know how to act, and he won't know how to, like, review. And the one thing that I agree that we should have here in Canada, and I hope we do anyway, we should have, community-based training. We should have trainings on people who, we should have trainings on cops, not just on, like, training in general, like, on the academy, but I also feel like we should have trainings on training you on what communities you're going to serve and what they believe in. It's something that I feel should be brought up, not just here, but also in the States. Like, how horrible the situation is there.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
So we should definitely have, like, some kind of community-based training. So do you guys, this is another question, do you guys think we should have, like, community-based training with cops?
Honestly, I think that would lead to better friendlier relationships with law enforcement in community areas. I do think that would lead. But another key important thing would be de-escalation training,
Yeah, that's a
because
big one.
most law enforcement officers don't properly know how to de-escalate. Like, actually, the Gerald R. Floyd incident is a great example of that. He was allegedly dealing counterfeit bills to try to buy something,
I heard about that.
and then the cops used a set of force, which honestly, if they were trained in de-escalation, this wouldn't have happened. We would not be here right now talking about this. Probably still be here, just not talking about this.
Even here in Canada, well, thank God that here in Canada cops are more trained. I've been down in the States, I've had interactions with some cops in the States, and, some of them aren't that bad. Others are, like, a little too trigger happy, to say the least. And, I agree, like, that some things that cops have done are, they're respectable. I've seen, like, body cam footage of US, like, this is something that always appears, like, on my YouTube feed, where I just see, like, a bunch of, like, cops, like, a bunch of body cams footage from cops down in the States. But I do feel like we should have people who haven't, like, done anything so alive today. With the George Floyd thing, and that was, like, something that was absolutely horrible, like, first of all. And I don't, like, if I'm being honest, I don't know the full specifics of it. I know it was a really international thing, but I don't know the specifics of it. I'm not American. But I do feel like, there should be some things that shouldn't have happened. I don't know if he really was dealing counterfeit cash. I don't know if he really was giving someone counterfeit cash. I don't know, like, if he really, like, bought those cigarettes with counterfeit cash. But what I do know is that the cop had his knee to his neck. Okay, he died because of that. People keep saying, like, oh, it was drugs, it was this and that. No, like, I had to look this up myself. Was he really doing drugs when it happened? No, because there was a doctor who did his autopsy, and he even confirmed there was no drug in his system. He died of blunt force trauma to his neck. Okay, he died because he was suffocated to death by a cop's knee. And, like, you gotta realize, that some things that, like Michael said, there are bad cops and there are good cops, and the good cops outweigh the bad. But the only reason that people... Hello, Alex, are you good?
Just a fucking little sick there, bud. Fucking flu's been going around here.
Fuck's sake, but
Yeah, it has been.
sorry,
but back to what I was...
my accent came out.
So did mine, you fucktard.
Back to what I was saying.
But
Back to what I was saying. The only reason that, like, good cops, like, they're not recognized here is because in the news they will only portray the bad. And
like CNN.
this is...
Shut the fuck up, Michael.
That's American. What the hell are you on about? We're not in fucking... I was talking about Channel 7.
I've watched a lot of Trump. Go, my boy, MAGA.
I was talking about Channel 7, how Channel 7 likes to portray the worst things in Canada instead of the good. There are cops here, in St. John who I absolutely appreciate, okay? I know a couple of officers here, and I just feel like, it is, like, really... It's really the media's fault, The only reason we know about George Floyd today, and thank God, is because of the media. The only reason we don't know about the good cops is, again, because of the media. There are things that should be reported on the media that the police have done. There are some good things that the police have done that people don't report on, people don't talk about. But if it's the one bad thing, the one bad apple that comes, it's like, look at all that. And I'm basically agreeing with you guys on this. Basically, I'm getting out of my liberalness to agree with you two conservatives.
Liberalistic?
But, my point is, like, I feel like we should have more better coverage and things. And I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping, like, at the end of this podcast, people come to realize, you know, even though this is a really tough topic to talk about, and this is a really deep topic, we're like at 20 minutes runtime at this point, and it's a deep topic to even talk about.
That's what she said.
Shut the fuck up, Michaels.
Shut the fuck. You know, I can't. I love how I didn't have to tell you. It was all Alex who told you to shut the fuck up, and I agree with that, man. But as I was saying, there are some things that people. There are some things that I hope people can get from this podcast. Is that even though, and this is a liberal telling you this, even though that some people are horrible. Remember that Western media just wants to portray that. And this isn't me being the communist from Russia. It's just me just telling you the truth, okay? Media... People just do it to get it paid, okay? People are just doing it to get it paid. They don't tell you the truth. Even Channel 7, who says they tell you the truth, but nothing but the truth.
Which is bullshit. We all know it.
Which is
Shut
bullshit.
the fuck
Which
up,
is bullshit.
Michaels.
No, he's right. It's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Like, there are things that Channel 7 has said that is absolute bullshit. Like, I don't even know whether I should, like, agree with it or if I should just worry about something else. Like, let me find, like, an article here that they were talking about. That I just find,
let's get Lisa to pull it up, can she?
Lisa, can you pull it up on one of the big screens over here? Like, one of that one?
It really is a bunch of bullshit.
This funny one that they posted. Can you pull this one up? Yeah, this one. Can you pull that one? Okay. So, all right, she's pulling it up right now. You guys should be able to see it.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
There you go. So, this one right here. Donald Trump makes a surprising message to the Canadian people after recently winning the American election as a conservative. And he sends out a Liberal Party message, right? This sounds like bullshit, okay? Like, this is why I'm saying Channel 7 is basically not bringing you the truth. This is just bullshit. And I'm hoping that people understand that journalism is a lot more like what we're doing. Even though we're not journalists, we're just podcasters who like to talk. We have, like the young people would say, degrees in yapinology. What am I saying? I'm 25. What the hell?
Yeah, don't
yapinology.
Like, Gen Alpha.
What the fuck's a yapinology?
Yeah, what's that?
Michael, you're 32.
I don't even know what TikTok. This is. No, I don't. I deleted it 20 years ago.
No, what do you mean 20 years ago?
Oh wait, sorry. No, that was 5 years ago.
Well, shut the hell up. You don't even know when you deleted. I feel like it's still on your phone.
Michael, did you take your fucking dementia pill this morning?
Yeah, did you take your dementia pills this morning?
I did take my dementia pill.
Did your wife forget to give you those?
I don't have dementia. You guys have been
married. You and your wife have been married for around, like, what? Almost, like, around 5-6 years?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And you still haven't moved up one fucking rank in the police department, you fucking bum.
Hey, promotion's coming soon.
That's what he said 20 years ago.
Shut up.
Alright, we're getting distracted here. But, I hope at the end of this podcast, what I can basically tell everybody, all of our viewers or all of our listeners, what I hope that you can learn from this is, even though things look bad, some things that you see are uncovered and it actually sucks. And I hope that one day you can realize that, it's not just the cops' fault, it's not just the people's fault, it is the journalists' fault most of the time.
Question everything that you read.
Don't
take everything you see on the internet with a grain of salt, especially if you're 32 like Michael.
Yes, absolutely. Like Michael over here. Fucking idiot. So, to close us off, thank you everybody for coming in to listen to us yap with Alex White here. And
thank you for having
me. Thank you for even coming on, Alex, honestly. Like,
honestly, Michael was giving me a little bit of a fucking I don't even know how. So he was giving me that look.
I wasn't giving you any of that look, but that was
Michael,
all
stop
you.
looking at. Hey! Stop looking at him. Look at me. My eyes are up here. Anyways, thank you everybody for actually coming onto this podcast to listen to us yap some more with a very special guest, Alex White. I'm hoping that you guys can actually take something from this and understand that the middle ground is actually that the middle ground is more or less the fact that some people aren't well informed a lot. And that's something that I came to understand myself as a liberal. And that's something that Michael and Alex, I'm sure, also come to understand, is that not everything that you see everywhere is the truth. And you have to actually do enough research yourself to actually understand that. So